Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something truly extraordinary, the anti-British struggle in Midnapore, Bengal.
Mm.
And this wasn't, just another uprising. It was incredibly organized. We're talking farmers, students, teachers, youth, women,
Everyone.
right, people from all walks of life.
So our mission today is to really unpack how this one district became such a powerhouse of defiance.
And the forms it took. Quite surprising.
Exactly. And why it still matters so much. I mean, think about this. They didn't just fight back. They actually built their own government.
Yeah, an alternative government. It's a fantastic example of grassroots nationalism, really.
So it wasn't just the big cities calling the shots.
Not at all. Midnapore really showed how rural areas could lead, politically awaken, and challenge the empire head-on. A formidable empire at that.
Okay, so where did it all begin? Let's talk about those first sparks, the seeds of nationalism.
Well, you have to go back to the late 19th century.
That's when you see this nationalist consciousness starting to bubble up,
Yeah.
particularly among the educated class in Midnapore itself.
So the intellectual groundwork was being laid then.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And then came a major catalyst, the 1905 Bengal Partition.
Ah, yes. Hugely significant moment.
Absolutely. It poured fuel on the fire. You see revolutionary zeal just ignite, especially among students, the youth in Midnapore.
It's interesting how the big political decision like partition could have such a direct, powerful effect at the local level.
It was felt very personally, it seems. It wasn't abstract. And crucially, this energy didn't just, dissipate.
No.
No, it led to the formation of actual revolutionary organizations right there. Groups like Yugantar, Anushalan Samiti.
Names that became very prominent in the wider revolutionary movement, secret societies focused on direct action.
Exactly. They were laying the groundwork for much more direct confrontation.
Which brings us to the next phase, doesn't it? Escalation, things moving beyond ideology into armed struggle.
Yes, definitely. The movement became much more confrontational.
How far were they willing to go? I mean, directly challenging British authority like that.
Pretty far, it turns out. We see it starkly with the targeting of British officials, the magistrates.
Right, the assassinations. Tell us about that.
Okay, so September 2nd, 1931. A shocking event. Midnapore College student Ramakrishna Ray, along with Ananta Singha, a revolutionary,
Yes.
they assassinated the district magistrate, James Petty.
Wow. A direct hit on the top administrator.
A very direct, very bold strike. And the impact.
It must have sent shockwaves.
Huge shockwaves. Subsequent magistrates became genuinely fearful. Midnapore became a dreaded posting.
You wouldn't want to be sent there.
Definitely not. And it wasn't an isolated incident. That's what's remarkable.
Here was another one.
Yes, fast forward just a couple of years. April 30th, 1933. Another district magistrate, Douglas, assassinated.
By whom this time?
Binoy Basu and Badal Gupta, names that later became famous for the Writers' Building attack in Kolkata.
So this wasn't random violence. It feels coordinated, sustained.
That's the key. It speaks volumes about their determination. Their perhaps desperation even, but certainly their organization. It wasn't just isolated anger.
They were strategically trying to make the district ungovernable, to instill fear.
Exactly. Destabilize the administration. But beneath these very dramatic acts, there were these hidden networks working away.
The secret organizations you mentioned earlier.
Yes, groups like Hinduistan Samaj and later the Revolutionary Socialist Party, the RSP, a leftist group very committed to armed resistance. They were forming and operating right there.
And what were they actually doing beyond the high-profile assassinations?
Well, they were deeply involved in the armed struggle itself. Police raids, trying to seize weapons, collecting arms.
So practical insurgency work.
Absolutely. This was organized insurgency aimed at crippling the colonial structures from within, not just protest.
Okay, this is already intense, but then the story takes an even more, I'd say, audacious turn, right?
It really does. This is where Midnapore becomes truly unique.
The Tamluk National Government.
The Tamluk National Government, yes. Established during the 1932 Quit India movement.
This wasn't just an idea, was it? They actually set it up.
They did a functioning, parallel, alternative government.
Incredible. Who was leading this?
You had figures like Satish Samanta, Arnesh Ryder, Sushil Dara, and importantly, Matingini Hazra. She became a real symbol.
And what did this government actually do? Was it just symbolic resistance?
Oh no, far from it. It was very practical. They managed local administration.
Like what? Collecting taxes?
Yes, maintaining law and order, even running their own judicial system. They were effectively governing parts of the district.
Running their own courts. That's astonishing.
It is. And the impact was profound. The British administration was, for a time, virtually paralyzed in the district.
How long did this last?
Almost 2 years.
2 years. How did they sustain that against the British Empire?
It shows the depth of their organization and, crucially, the level of popular support they had. The community buy-in must have been immense.
That seems to be the key takeaway, the people's involvement. It wasn't just a few revolutionaries, it was widespread.
Exactly. That's what gave it such power. And when you talk about the people, you have to talk about Matangini Hazra again.
Her story is incredible, isn't it?
Truly, she was over 70 years old.
70.
Yes, over 70, when she was actively participating in the Quit India movement in 1942.
Oh.
Imagine that level of courage, that conviction.
And her end was so symbolic. Tell us about her martyrdom.
She was leading a procession, trying to take over the Tamluk police station. She was shot while holding the national flag, trying to hoist it.
Still urging others forward.
Yes. Apparently, with Vande Mataram, the nationalist cry on her lips as she fell, a powerful, powerful symbol of defiance.
It's an icon. But it wasn't just icons, right? You mentioned widespread support.
Critical point. This wasn't just an urban elite thing or limited to specific figures.
Yeah.
It was grassroots.
So people in the villages?
Yes. Common people, farmers, fishermen, laborers, they were actively involved. They formed the bedrock of the movement.
And students, too, you mentioned.
Oh, hugely. There was a massive awakening among students. And interestingly, often led or inspired by their teachers.
So education played a part, not just in the initial consciousness raising, but in the active struggle, too.
Definitely. The classrooms and lecture halls were fertile ground.
Which makes sense why certain institutions became focal points.
Precisely. Midnapore College itself and other schools and colleges linked to Calcutta University, they became hotbeds.
Hotbeds of revolutionary activity.
Yes, and strong anti-British sentiment. They weren't just educating, they were in effect training grounds, meeting points for these young revolutionaries.
Of course, this level of defiance, especially armed struggle and setting up a parallel government, it wouldn't have gone unanswered.
No, the British response was severe. Retribution was fierce.
What kind of punishments are we talking about?
Many of the youths, the students involved, faced harsh consequences. Long prison sentences, transportation to the cellular jail in the Andaman Islands.
Kalapani, the infamous penal colony.
Exactly. And executions, hangings as well. They wanted to make examples.
A heavy price for freedom.
Very heavy price. But even then, the spirit wasn't entirely crushed. Some managed to escape capture.
And continue the fight.
Yes, incredibly. Some went on to join Netaji Subhas Chandra Bose's Azad Hind Fauj, the Indian National Army.
Fighting from outside India's borders, that shows an unbelievable level of commitment, doesn't it?
It really does. An unyielding desire for freedom that repression couldn't extinguish.
So let's try and pull this together. What's the lasting significance of the Midnapore struggle in the grand narrative of Indian independence?
Well, it stands out as just supremely well-organized resistance, a model almost of how to challenge the administration directly.
A beacon, perhaps?
I think that's a fair description. A beacon of light, especially within Bengal's independence movement. It proved definitively that rural areas could be pioneers.
Not just followers, but leaders in political awakening and direct action.
Exactly. It broke that stereotype of resistance being solely urban-led.
And I keep coming back to this point, but the truly unique aspect, the thing that really sets Midnapore apart.
The Tamluk national government.
Yes. They didn't just protest or resist, they actually built an alternative. That, combined with Matangini Hazra's sacrifice, the sheer breadth of participation, it gives Midnapore a very special place, doesn't it?
A distinctive and powerful place in the history books, absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we've seen the sheer audacity of forming that parallel government, the incredible courage of individuals like Matangini Hazra, even in old age.
And the unifying power of collective action, pulling everyone together.
It's a real testament to how deep the roots of resistance can go when a community is united.
And it raises a fascinating question, I think. How could a regional sort of decentralized movement pose such an effective challenge to a global empire?
Right. What does that tell us about resistance when it truly integrates everyone, farmers, students, laborers, women, in a common goal?
It suggests a power that maybe top-down movements don't always capture.
So a final thought for you, our listeners. Consider that spirit of self-governance. That willingness, even under intense oppression, to not just tear down, but to build an alternative system.
Yeah, how does that emerge? How is
Well,
it sustained?
and maybe think about what elements of this Midnapore struggle, the local initiative, the broad participation, the focus on self-rule might resonate even today in other movements for self-determination around the world, something to ponder.